I'm pretty sure that you're probably already aware of this, but Secret of Mana is getting a 3D remake that will be available next year on the PlayStation 4, the Vita, and for the PC if you have Steam. So this is great news for JRPG players, especially fans of Square Enix. You're getting a bona fide classic with a 3D facelift, and this is, like I said, great news for old and new JRPG players. For those of you that remember this game on the Super Nintendo, it is a beloved classic, and for a lot of people it was their first JRPG on the Super Nintendo. It was the first one that I recall actually playing through to completion and beating, and I have nothing but fond memories of this game that I share with my good friend Tommy, who is here part of Toy Bounty Hunters. We would talk on end about this game when we were kids, and we absolutely love it. And it's a testament to how great this game is when it's being included as part of the SNES Classic Edition's library of games that are already on the system there. So that should tell you right there how much this game truly means to people. And it's great that it's being introduced to a whole new audience. For those that don't want to go back and play the 16-bit classic, you don't have to. You got a 3D version of this game that might be more appealing to your eyes if you don't care for 16-bit graphics. There you go. Now you have a reason to play this game. It's going to have an updated soundtrack, and it's also going to have voice acting in it, which is obviously not something that was on the Super Nintendo version. So that could be a double-edged sword depending on who they get to voice these roles, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But it got me thinking, what would I like to see Square Enix remake next in 3D? So I've compiled a little short list here of only 3 games that I really think, and I'm pretty sure there's, not only do I think that they should remake these, but I'm pretty sure there's a good chance that they will remake at least 1 or if not 2 of these games in the near future, because it only makes sense that they should. So starting off with number 3, this is a game that solidified me as not just an RPG, a JRPG player for life, but a Final Fantasy fan for life, and that is Final Fantasy VI, or Final Fantasy III as it was known on the Super Nintendo. But of course, this is actually part 6. This game definitely needs a 3D remake. The soundtrack for the game is incredible. If you've ever heard it orchestrated, it sounds great, but I wouldn't mind hearing just another take of the soundtrack of this game and also seeing it in the 3D format. It is long overdue. Final Fantasy VI. Number 2 is actually not a 16-bit game, but a 32-bit game from the PlayStation era, and that is Star Ocean: The Second Story. Now, this was a part of Enix before the Square and Enix merger, and it absolutely deserves a 3D remake. This game not only has a phenomenal soundtrack, which they could actually reuse and not have to update if they don't want to, because it's already an incredible sounding soundtrack. This game is one that I spent a ton of hours on, probably more than any RPG that I've ever played on the PlayStation. This game is timeless. I mean, there's so many things you could do in this game, so many abilities you could learn, so many things that you can create and craft in this game, and so many different endings that give it such replay value. The fact that you could choose from one of 2 main characters and go down these different branching paths really make this game stand out as a must-own game on the PlayStation, but it would be even grander if they could just give it a facelift and update it a bit more. So that would be my number 2, Star Ocean: The Second Story. Now, number 1 will come as no surprise, and that is Chrono Trigger. And some would even argue that this should have already gotten a 3D remake. And I would say this is probably the one that has the best chance of getting a 3D remake in the very near future. This is a game that long after its debut, I mean, this game is over 20 years old, still is one that manages to stay in the consciousness of people that love JRPGs. It's got a fantastic story, memorable characters that are very fleshed out, great music, and this game has been ported over several times. I mean, everything from the iOS, you could get it on the Nintendo Online Shop. It was ported over to the PlayStation as part of Final Fantasy Chronicles Collection, which that's where the anime cutscenes were added to it. And that version, along with the regular version, were also ported over to the Nintendo DS. So this is a game that has managed to maintain and still kind of stick around and remind people, hey, I'm still here. And it was a great game that came out when the 32-bit era had started and still made an impact. So that is definitely the #1 game that I would like to see get a 3D remake here in the near future by Square Enix. And that pretty much completes my list. I'd like to know what you guys think. What are the 3 games or more that you would like to see Square Enix make a 3D remake of here in the near future? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, of course, subscribe, and until next time, guys, you know how it goes. Thank you for watching, and the hunt continues.